Joshua Williamson, Dennis Culver, Chris Burnham, Mike Norton, and Andre Bressan lay down the history of the many DC Universe crises as Dr. Multiverse reveals to her friends that Darkseid is right, and he must be allowed to win the war. Joshua Williamson and Dennis Culver build out a fantastic penultimate issue for the Justice League Incarnate series, filling the issue with very clear and concise history lessons on the multiple crises the DC Universe has been through since 1985, laying it all out in really simple terms so even the most beginner reader can pick up these issues and know what's happening, and maybe even want to seek out these crises and read more about them in their respective trades. One thing that Williamson and Culver make very clear is that this series is very much a sequel to Final Crisis, where in Final Crisis Grant Morrison had the Miracle Machine heal the universe. Here the Gentry are making the Oblivion Machine to undo what the Miracle Machine did. Williamson and Culver really look into Final Crisis here, and it's my favourite of the crises, but it is a very Grant Morrison book and can confuse many, but the writers explain it very well and set it out very well so anyone can understand it, which is fantastic. The coming together of all these different plots from all over the DCU is fantastic, and it's left off in a place that sets up a huge finale for this series, as well as an end to what is really the first chapter in Joshua Williamson's huge plans for DC at the moment. Chris Burnham, Mike Norton, and Andre Bressan continue their fantastic, colourful, and action-packed artwork this issue, perfectly capturing the huge moments from these various crises over the years, as well as doing some really exciting double-page spreads from Mike Norton near the end of the book featuring Darkseid and Empty Hand's vicious battle with one another. Justice League Incarnate issue 4 was an exposition-heavy history lesson of the various crisis events within the DC Universe and how they all factor into Infinite Frontier and what Joshua Williamson is building towards, pushing this series into an action-packed finale that you won't want to miss. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Justice League Incarnate issue 4 finds Dr. Multiverse explained that at the beginning there was a single black infinitude, black and cold, but soon a light grew in the darkness and it screamed at it, causing a flaw to form in the perfection of the light, and from that flaw the multiverse was born, beginning the start of the eternal push and pull of the great darkness and the light, which culminated in the crisis of Infinite Earths, a war between the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor. Monitor gave his life to activate the multiverse's immune systems, the superheroes who fought the Anti-Monitor, but victory came at a cost, and the multiverse died to give birth to one single universe. Thanks to the universe being weakened, the Great Darkness tried to attack, but luckily Swamp Thing was on hand to broker a truce and compromise of a near-perfect harmony. But soon the Great Darkness continued its plans via puppets like Magog and Superboy Prime, all of whom were unaware of what was happening to them, eventually building and leading to another crisis that forced the lone universe to evolve again into a new multiverse. Monitors were dispatched to contain and limit the new multiverse to 52 worlds, slowing the Great Darkness's awakening. Soon though, Darkseid, one of the few aware of the existence of the Great Darkness, soon learned of its truth, that it cares for no good or evil, life or death, and only wants nothing to be everything once more. So Darkseid triggered the final crisis, all designed to draw out the Great Darkness. But there was one thing that Darkseid didn't count on, which was his own mortality, as he was killed by Batman. As Superman tries to save the multiverse with the Miracle Machine, the Great Darkness shows itself through Mandrak, the first Monitor and first corrupted by the Dark. Another Monitor activates the immune system of the multiverse again, and the heroes protect the worlds, defeating Mandrak and activating the Miracle Machine to heal the multiverse. The Great Darkness soon learns its true enemy is that of the superheroes, with Earth-Zero being right in the center of it all, containing prime versions with variations of the heroes emanating outwards to the surrounding universes. The Darkness soon found Dr. Manhattan, cursing him with the task of weakening the heroes of Earth-Zero by stealing time from their universe. In another world, the right hand of the Great Darkness soon became the Empty Hand, growing the army of the Gentry from the corpses of the old multiverse, corrupting even the Super Judge to its ranks. Luckily though, the Super Judge sent out an SOS to the Justice League Incarnate and many other heroes of the multiverse who came together to fight the Gentry. While the battle raged, the final Monitor, Nix Uotan of the Gentry, freed Darkseid from his tomb, returning him into life. Darkseid began the journey back to godhood, and the heroes save Nyx and quarantine the Gentry on Earth 7, where the Gentry continue the work on the Oblivion Machine to undo the wish made by the Miracle Machine, as the Great Darkness begun the Metal Wars on Earth 0, unleashing the horrors of the Dark Multiverse on the world. The heroes still managed to beat back the Batman Who Laughs and Barbatos, but they would be fundamentally changed as Earth 0 was no longer the center of the multiverse, replaced with two new Earths, the mysterious and still undiscovered Elseworld, as well as Earth Omega, which was revealed to be a fragment of the Great Darkness imprisoned by the Quintessence, who were recently killed by the one true Darkseid, who had returned to godhood. From his new seat of power, Darkseid kidnapped and used Barry Allen to crack the multiverse so he could control the Great Darkness and prevent it from turning everything into nothing. But then the Justice League Incarnate came along and messed it all up. Dr. Multiverse tells the others just as Barry Allen was about to crack the multiverse, President Superman broke Darkseid's machine and it bound Barry and the stress point to Earth Omega, pulling the hero into whatever lies beyond, while the crack was relocated to Earth 8, her world. She reveals the multiverse gave her powers to heal it in case anything like this happened, and it's why she's been so driven to seal it with or without saving Barry. But when she had the chance, she wasn't powerful enough. Luckily, her powers came with cosmic insight, and it's why they came to this place for answers, knowing Darkseid must win. Darkseid knows the absolute enemy of everything is the enemy of evil as well, and he should be powerful enough to stop it now. Superman refuses to believe this, as Avery demands to know how Maya could have done this, since she said together they would save the multiverse. Batman wants to get her as far away from Darkseid as possible, but it's too late as boom tubes open and Darkseid's army arrives. Grail and Calabac reveal that Orion betrayed them and crashed the House of Heroes on Earth 7, prompting Superman to try and learn more, but Grail punches the man, knowing her words are for Darkseid only. Captain Carrot tells Calvin to calm down since they are surrounded, as Darkseid asks her about the monitor tech in the House of Heroes since it's crucial for his mission. Grail says that their army didn't survive the impact and they escaped upon learning they were on Earth 7, which is currently infested by the Gentry. Darkseid knows that they must go there and fight, wondering if the Justice League Incarnate will join them, but Calvin asks if that's the only way, why didn't the villain come to them first? Darkseid knows diplomacy is a luxury they cannot afford right now, and every moment spent chasing the heroes' ideals of truth, hope and justice allow the enemies to strengthen and grow. As he explains the Dark Multiverse's influence has already grown, Thomas tries to inject Dr. Multiverse with something, telling Calvin that it's just a sedative, but Superman, thanks to his microscopic vision, knows he's lying. Thomas begins coughing, knowing that killing Maya solves the problem, as it's revealed that Thomas has been infected by the Great Darkness, and Darkseid knows that Batman now no longer exists in the body. Superman tries to reason with Thomas, but the former hero calls for the eradication of all. Darkseid has had enough, firing his Omega beams at the man and killing the Flashpoint Batman. He finds Superman mourning him pathetic, since he's never met a Superman who has been able to overcome his weak humanity. He demands the hero accept the casualties of war and fight on before nothing exists. Darkseid confronts Dr. Multiverse, taking the power of the multiversal crack from her and wanting to use it as a nail to be driven into the empty hand. He rallies his battle legions behind him as he boom tubes over to Earth 7. Avery asks Superman what they should do, but the man still doesn't know, since their teammates, the House of Heroes and everything are gone, and they have no way back to other Earths or a way to call for help against Darkseid and the Great Darkness. Captain Carrot knows that they can't just take Darkseid's word for this, and they don't know if the rest of the team are gone, and they can't give up hope. Superman knows his friend is right, since Thomas would want them to make this moment count, and while it's too dark to see the light, it doesn't mean it's not out there shining for them to find it. Dr. Multiverse knows she can get them to Earth 7, that is if they still want her help, and Superman knows that she is part of this team despite being disappointed in her, but knows that she only did what she thought was right, but she did it without them, and that's not what teams do. Maya understands that none of them are meant to do this alone, and the team agree to go to Earth 7 and find their friends, as on the other Earth, Darkseid and his forces confront the Gentry. Darkseid proclaims that his resurrection was a fatal mistake in their master's plans, growing in size and stabbing the Empty Hand with the multiversal power. The being laughs off the attack, pulling the multiversal spear from his body and proclaiming that Darkseid is the greatest fool in the multiverse and beyond. The Empty Hand reveals that all the villain has done is deliver him the final component for the Oblivion Machine, and soon the Great Darkness will be birthed into the multiverse and the entire Omniverse will shatter. He proclaims that his hand is no longer empty and Darkseid is no longer needed, stomping on the villain as Superman and the others make it to Earth 7, finding the crashed House of Heroes. Calvin uses his belt's Brainiac AI to restart Harbinger, bringing the computers back online and ordering her to run an expanding perimeter around the wreckage, as he and Captain Carrot will use their vision powers to scan deeper while Avery runs a perimeter. Superman wants Dr. Multiverse to be ready to transport them out of there if the Parademons or the Gentry find them, but Maya can see that Darkseid is losing the battle, but Superman tells her they'll deal with that once they get some more backup, and he's not giving up. A voice says that he probably should, as the rest of their team appear, all having been infected by the Great Darkness and intend on doing the same to the rest of the heroes.